high levels of poverty,
unemployment,
stigma and discrimination,
gender-based violence,
sexual harassment,
early marriages and pregnancies,
drug abuse,
leadership and governance.
These are some of the pressing issues affecting our communities.
Raise your voice and speak up because you are the solution.
And by working together, we can create locally driven solutions that can transform our society and the world. Be a voice of change today.
Impact Show, the voice of change.
Yo, Mwila Bwanga, mambo vipi, kef molibu runji. I'm super excited today. It's another episode of the Impact Show. Welcome to the Voice of Change. And today I'm having a very special guest with me. Someone I've been searching for a long time. I finally caught him in Zimbabwe, just imagine. This is no other than Mr. Mwila. We also call him Honorable Kanono.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so to begin with, Mr. Mwila, you can just introduce yourself. Let the people know you. Who is Mr. Mwila?
So my name is Mwila Bwanga. I am executive director for an organization called BeRelevant Africa.
Yeah.
A larger portion of my work is in the field of politics, governance, and youth development. I'm so passionate about young people because one of the things I've come to understand is that the future that we envision wholly rests in the hands of the youth, whether we like it or not. So there's a need for us to invest boldly in this particular demographic that is being completely neglected. And that is basically the kind of work that we are doing under BeRelevant Africa, supporting young people to understand their fullest potential, positioning young people for the right kind of leadership that they need in order for them to occupy space, and also just ensuring that we position them in the right kind of spaces they need to be in at the right time.
Oh, great stuff. You're doing amazing work. I've seen BeRelevant. I've seen the number of students who have graduated from BeRelevant is quite amazing. Some of them are actually making impact in the society. If we can keep it on record, even the new president for UNZA is a BeRelevant alumni. I think even the one who was on the opposition.
So the new president for UNZA is BeRelevant leader. The one who was opposition is BeRelevant leader. The current president of ZICAS is BeRelevant.
Come on,
The current Law Association president was BeRelevant. I can go on and on.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's the impact that BeRelevant has been bringing in Zambia and just across Africa. All right. So basically, I wanted to ask you this question because a lot of young people look up to you and they're quite inspired with what you do. All right. So what is the source of inspiration? Why leadership and governance? What made you pursue this particular thematic area or this particular field?
I grew up in a family that was highly political, right? Okay. My dad was very engaged with the MMD at that moment in time. My mom was also a very political woman.
Okay.
She was one of those women that were the vuvuzelas of the MMD at that moment in time. And being exposed to such kind of environments kind of had a spillover effect on the kind of leadership path that I wanted to take. But ambition is one thing. Being mentored in that particular space is another. And even as I got to where I am and to where I wanted to be, one thing that I realized that I lacked was to be in a space where I can be mentored. And that is what drove the establishment of BeRelevant Africa, to say, you know what, there are so many young people that are ambitious, so many young people that wish to position themselves for leadership in politics, in governance, in business. Leadership is not only in the field of politics. Leadership is a diverse spectrum, and we have to realize that, and that's what basically drove me in that particular space, to say, you know what, how can I identify the potential that young people have and then position them for leadership, position them for impact, position them in spaces where they can be seen, where they can be noticed, where they can be trusted. And that's basically what drove me in that space. And one of the things I'd love to note is that it's one thing for us to do leadership development works for young people, but it's yet another thing for us to ensure that after we capacitate them, we now give them the right kind of opportunities that they can use then to actualize that which we have given them. And that is why BeRelevant, some of the young people that go through our programs, we either employ them into the organization, we attach them to a new fellowship, we attach them to a new organization that can actually capacitate them even more. We give them a seed fund to start a new project, whatever it might be. Because the biggest issue that we are having is that whenever we bring young people to the table, it's more tokenistic as opposed to being practical. So it's about filling the data gaps, or M&E as it were, where you just say, we had young people come to the conference,
and then,
but the only issue that what they did was to occupy the seats and to just say, the young people please shout, hey, hey. But we tried by all means to say, how can we change that particular narrative?
All right, interesting. Interesting. All right, thank you so much. So when it comes to the young people face quite a number of challenges. One of which, the most challenge that we have here in Africa is unemployment. Number two, we've seen young people being used as vuvuzelas when it comes to political parties. I think if I can, if my memory serves me well, I think you're the one who spoke about young people being the drivers of change, people like Keke Kaunda, and I think you're a fan of our legends, the people that fought for liberation in Zambia, and you actually authored a book towards that. What do you think are some of the solutions, like practical solutions when it comes to unemployment? Number one, young people not only being the vuvuzelas, because at the end of the day, you said young people must be given an opportunity. Are they really being given an opportunity? Because when you look at the government, when you look at leadership positions, are we really having young people in those spaces?
I totally get your point, my brother. And maybe to help you, let me begin somewhere, right? Society is shaped by history. And the reason why we consistently tell our story, it is because we have to inspire future generations that it was done before and it can be done again. And the reason why I'm so fond of speaking about our forefathers, the Kenneth Kaundas, the Simon Wansa Kapwepwes, the Mainza Jonas, and all these amazing figures. You know, and for me, I don't only speak about it, I even demonstrated my whole entire dress code.
We can see it.
So, you know, so the reason why it's important for us to not neglect our history is because when we see how young those amazing young people were, and the liberation that they gave us, we can safely say that it's possible. So when I look at the young people in my country, Zambia, and even across the African continent, I think one thing that I will have to state is that it's possible for a young person to be president. That's number one. It's possible for a young person to be CEO and drive change. That's number two. It's possible for a young person to be permanent secretary. That's number three. It's possible for a young person to be committed with the magnitude of responsibility. The amount of impact that a person can drive is not determined by age. It's determined by capacity and competence. That's basically all about it. So when it comes to issues of unemployment and so on and so forth, the biggest solution that we need, and there's nothing else, is to create an enabling environment for young people to thrive. That are you a graphic designer? You can thrive. Are you in fashion and designing? You can thrive. Are you in tech? You can thrive. So when we create an enabling environment that takes young people for who they are and begin to give them the opportunities that they need in order for them to be more impactful in their craft, that's where we need to get it right. Because when we talk about employment, normally we talk about issues of nursing and being a doctor and A, B, C, and D and all these other nitty-gritties. But the main issue here, my dear brother, is let us create an enabling environment that helps young people to become the fullest potential of who they are. Am I a writer? I want to build a career in that field. Am I in sport? I want to build my career in that field. That will be the only way that we can overcome the unemployment.
Great stuff. Those are great sentiments.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So just to wrap it up, so finally, Africa has been faced with a drought challenge right now. There are a lot of difficulties out there. Yes, we've heard the president speak about the solutions. We've heard about different people come in solutions. You being a forefront leader of the young people, what do you think are some of the solutions to these drought challenges that Southern Africa has been facing, particularly Zambia?
Innovation is number one. I've seen countries, there's a famous book called My Vision, right? And it just basically details how Dubai got to where it is today. And many of us know that Dubai is completely a desert. But they were able to use innovation to take themselves out of that particular circumstance. And the only way I believe that we can help ourselves to curb this issue of the drought, which is with us, because climate change is definitely with us. The question is, how do we become adaptable as nations, taking into account the challenges that we are facing? The challenges we have are inevitable. But as nations and as people, we have to be the inevitable solution to those inevitable problems. So innovation is key. How do we begin to drive innovation in the field of climate change? There's no rain. What can we do about it that is more innovative? While we pray, we also need to ask that God doesn't only give us the rains, but God also gives us the intellect to come up with something that can replace the rains. And I believe it's possible. So innovation is key, but in order for us to drive innovation, we have to ensure that we provide the means and the resources to fund that particular innovation. In Zambia, we have the Ministry of Science and Technology, and we have so many young people that are in tech. How can we begin to capacitate these amazing brains in order for us to have a solution that helps us to get out of this particular mess? The biggest challenge that we have as an African continent and as Zambia as well is that we are more reactive and less proactive.
Okay, all right, now thank you so much. Okay, so in closing, I want to pose this very important question to you. You've been very impactful, especially to leaders in Lusaka, and I bet there are other people who come from different cities who go to maybe ONS or other universities there that can be part of your BeRelevant program. Are you thinking of scaling it up to places like, let's take for instance Livingstone, where I come from? Basically, we have a lot of young people that are very impactful, who want to be part of the change, who want to be part of the network. Are you thinking? What are you thinking of scaling it up to?
I'm super happy. I'm so excited that you're asking me this question, because beginning next year, we have identified 4 provinces where we want to scale BeRelevant. Okay. Number 1, already Lusaka, it's muchly scaled up. Copper Belt is another, because I come from the Copper Belt, so it's inevitable. Southern Province, and particularly Livingstone, is number 3, and the last one is Chipata, the eastern part. Okay, great. And the first thing that we're doing early next year, and I want the young people as they're listening to us to just stay in tuned and look, check our website and our page and see what we'll be showing. So next year we have what we're calling the Coppola Youth Drive. We have what we are calling the Southern Youth Drive, the Eastern Youth Drive. So these are 3 regional summits and conferences for young people. The Southern Youth Drive will be in Livingston. Great stuff. Coppola Youth Drive will be in Chingola. And the Eastern Youth Drive will be in Chipata. So this is a way of us trying to ensure that now we begin to tap into the amazing potential of young people into these spaces. So we'll definitely work with you in Livingstone.
Great stuff. That's
look forward to it.
Good news. I'm looking forward to it.
We hope that the event will be the smoke that thunders.
Yeah, it will be the smoke that thunders. As we all know, when you come to Zambia, when they ask, where are you from? Zambia. Where is Zambia? You have to say, do you know where the Victoria Falls is? Where? Livingstone. So it's not even about Lusaka, it's about Livingstone. All right. Okay. All right. So finally, I know you are a leader and you do so many things. What are some of your hobbies? What do you do in your free time just to keep your mental health running and all that stuff? What do you do? Do you have a family? Okay, I already know you have a family.
Yeah, man, I'm married. To those that are watching, I'm married. I'm married. 1 little kid. His name is Ntandalubuto. My kid has African names throughout. Okay. Yeah, in Ntandalubuto. What I do in my free time, I'm a big fan of movies. Oh, great. I play a lot of cricket. Oh, great. Reading is not fun, right? Reading is work. So I think playing movies, chilling with my family, playing cricket, and I'm a fanatic of working out. Oh, can I disclose something here? Tell me. Definitely I will. Tell me. All right. Back in the days, actually before I met you, I listened to your rap. Oh! Yeah, man, I used to rap. They used to call me Hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane. And before I knew it that you were actually into leadership and governance, I would tell by your energy, just by your rap energy, there's a certain zeal. And I'm glad that you directed that zeal to leadership and governance. I used to rap, man. I used to drop in bars when I stayed in the studio. Growth, my brother, growth. All right. Great. No, great stuff. Thank you so much. I just had to disclose that. No, you had to. No, it's important. Okay. People might think as though we used to be young. When I mean that I work with young people, I was young. I was a Gen Z at some time. I know, right? So No, but thank you so much for having me.
All right, Mr. Mwila, thank you so much for coming on the Impact Show. It's a privilege and honor to have you. You're doing amazing work with young people. Keep on building, keep on impacting. We are cheering for you, and we are honoring you. We are celebrating you. We celebrate you so much.
Thank you.
That's why we've invited you on this Impact Show, where we've featured different people that are causing impact in the country, in Africa, and basically in the global world. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming to the Impact Show. Do you have any last words?
I think the only last words I have is that if you're a young person and you're watching this, I just want to remind you that the fate of Zambia and the fate of Africa is waiting for no politician. It's waiting for no business CEO. It's waiting for that young person who's watching this video right now. And you need to pick yourself up and ask yourself, what can I do to make the world a better place? Thank you.
Great stuff. All right, so this has been the Impact Show, the voice of change, and we are done for today. Thank you so much.